There was the Eminem joint, the Killshot, the MGK disc. That was the biggest one. It was weird, man. Like it felt surreal.
Dope boys, what's going down?
What up? What up?
What's good?
Let's get right into it. I didn't realize this. You're actually brothers biologically. Yeah. How does that dynamic work, though? I mean, mixing friendship and business can get kind of crazy because they're so personal. And you're brothers. Do you really get along well?
Yeah. And I guess that's why it works, because it's always been that way. Yeah, there was never a situation where I was like, I wish I could do this shit on my own. Like, I actually think that we're in the situation that we're in right now because of there is the two of us. And, it's like we complement each other very well, especially when it comes to the music. Like, he's more of the music guy and I'm more of a hip hop and sample guy, and if you put the two together, the results are always pretty dope, I guess.
That is interesting because you have the formal training, and then you were the DJ. You have the DJ background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was that moment when the two of you just sat down and said, "All right, let's do this. Let's marry our fates and become a real team"?
Basically, when I saw him use FL Studio the first time, like he was always into music. I was always kind of like a computer nerd before I started having to do anything with music. So Fruity Loops was kind of like a blend of music and computer nerdiness, so to say. And I just asked him if he wanted to, like, I don't know, give me his version of FL or let me try it out for a while. Yeah. And after a while, it just made sense to like start producing music together, because everybody learned something from a different place and showed to the other guy. And it was just like an exchange of ideas, of information. Yeah. And
I remember like one month after I had given him FL Studio, he played me a beat and I was like, nah, nowhere in the world you made that beat. Like I thought he was trying to prank me, like, but because it was really dope and I was on it like half a year and I couldn't even figure the software out, and he had made a beat that sounded pretty dope, and I was like, nah, you didn't make that. And then he showed me in FL Studio, he showed me the session. I was like, okay, he's about to be a problem. We need to like put our join forces and learn from each other and do this thing like for real.
And also, we were back in the day still living at our mom's house, so it was just
you were always together anyway, right?
Exactly. The other one was always around.
What year was this?
2008.
10 years ago.
Okay, that's back in the day. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, one of you was born in the 80s. I won't say which one. We can move on. That's interesting because I've kind of found that it's difficult for a lot of people with highly musical backgrounds to just jump into music production, because it's almost as though they psych themselves out to the whole process. But it doesn't seem like you had that problem. So the very first beat that you showed him on FL Studio, was that sample based? Was that all programmed? Tell me about that track.
That particular one he's talking about, that was do you know warbeats.com?
Yeah, old school online internet pioneer. Yeah.
And he did those. That guy warbeats.com, I don't even know his real name. He did like these very, very back in the day in-depth tutorials on YouTube on like how to do a Dr. Dre beat, how to do a Timbaland beat.
That was Type Beats 2005.
And I basically just watched one of his videos and kind of produced along with him. I don't know, a few things in my mind just clicked, just started to like make sense, and it was just like, okay, that's how it works. And the next day I just showed him like, yo, I stayed up until like 2-3 a.m. and
I made this
did
beat.
this. Yeah. What do you think? And that's how that one came along. So it was basically
no samples then.
No, there were basically no samples in there. It was all played. I'd say it was hardly inspired by the tutorial, obviously. Yeah. So it was like, it was played, but it was not just only my idea, so to say.
I got it. So early on, I read that you worked in some capacity with Jermaine Dupri, or you caught his attention. It was vague. So what was that situation actually about?
So we, because the thing that got me interested after DJing, the thing that got me interested in, trying to produce my own music was seeing those Ryan Leslie videos. Like I saw that and I was like, okay, I need to figure this shit out. I want to do the
where
same.
he's playing, 12 different keyboards.
Exactly.
Yeah, having a good ass time in the studio.
Yeah. So exactly. So as soon as we, thought, okay, our music is at a level where, it's not the best, it's not trash either. We can share it with the world. That's the way we chose to do it too. Like we, had this little studio, so we filmed our entire process, put it on YouTube. And then there was this producer contest on YouTube hosted by a big YouTuber back then. His name is Mike Colombo. And he is affiliated with Jermaine Dupri and So Def. So we ended up winning this contest. As Jermaine Dupri was the one who announced the winners. And he back then pretty much said like the winner is going to become a So Def producer. And then we ended up winning the contest. But that's pretty much everything that happened. Yeah. And then, I tried to, I don't know, talk to him on social media, on Twitter, and hit him up all the time. And then, 2 years later, we flew out to Atlanta to meet him, and we also met B. Cox back in the studio over there. But nothing really happened. Like we played him some music, but that was in 2013. And I remember. In all honesty, looking back at it, we were not ready. Like he was, politely nodding his head and all that, but he was not impressed. And looking back at it, he was not impressed for a reason, honestly speaking.
I remember him just saying like, yo, the beats were dope, but there was nothing that I could hear an artist on, so just keep working on that.
Yeah, so just, pretty much that.
Yeah.
Okay. It must have been disappointing, but it seems like you put it into perspective maybe after the fact.
I think it was the right thing to happen. Like
at that moment,
it would have been weird if he would have been like, "Oh man, let's work together." Because obviously, looking back at it, it wasn't that good. I mean,
we were not ready. Like even if he was like super into the music and offered us whatever deal he was to offer, we wouldn't even know what to do with it and how the shit works. And
after I read your bio, it kind of seems as though you went right to the internet. You didn't really spend time trying to work your way through the industry. And
one reason for that is because we are from Germany, and the city that we're from is like a really small city. Not even people, if you drive an hour in no matter which direction, people even in Germany don't know this place. So it's it's a small city. It's not a lot going on. I don't know, man. The internet always seemed like our way to make it happen, because our goal, ever since we started this, our goal was to make this our full-time job. So we always approached it that way. Like I said, there's not a lot going on hip-hop wise out here. There are a few artists in in Germany that are pretty big, but most of them are like from Berlin, which is like 5 hours from here. It's not like we couldn't go up there, but then again, our sound and the music that we really love was not the German rap music. It was what the US was, or was what was going on in the States. So in order for us to do, or, produce the music that we love and turn it into a full-time job, the internet seemed like the way to do it. And I always, looking back at it, I always thought like, how are these guys doing this? They probably know some industry people. That's why it's working for them. Like not really understanding shit about it, to be honest. And then I found out that Allrounder lived like an hour away from here, and he was back then killing it on SoundClick. So that was when I was like, okay, if this guy's doing it and he's from around the way pretty much, then there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do the same thing.
And he's still pretty active online.
Yeah, he is.
So
he is, absolutely.
That's promising. So when did you actually start, like what year did you start selling beats online? Because Dangerous, I found your MySpace page, and MySpace is so trash right now, they won't even let you play the music. Because I have a MySpace page that I have music on that I just can't access. And it's like, damn, I was trying to listen. You had an Eminem remix up there. I couldn't listen to it. At that era, at that MySpace era, I wasn't even thinking about licensing beats online, but you were already doing it at that point?
Not really.
There was this one random guy who wanted to buy beats.
Yeah, he just contacted me on MySpace. I think that's actually the first tracks that we sold. He just contacted me on MySpace. We sent him like I think it was like a 7-zip file of like 5 or 6 MP3s.
One
And
200 bucks.
he
or
sent us
whatever.
like $200 or something,
Yeah.
and it was, oh man, we made money with beats.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool back in the
Before
day.
even thinking about making money with beats, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you did say so. Your goal was always to make a living with music.
You know,
Yeah, but
originally we used to be like a 4-guy team.
Yeah.
You know, it was another person that I knew from DJing and another guy that I went to school with who is a very dope musician. He plays guitar and bass, and like his entire family are musicians. So, you know, that's how we started. That was like in 2009. And the more serious we got, or the more we tried to, you know, really pursue this, we were, you know, you could just tell that the four of us were not working for the same thing. Like for the musician guy, it was just another project that he was part of. For the other DJ guy, he really didn't have the best work ethic. So when it came to, okay, we really want to do this and turn this into our full-time job, you're either like 100% in or, you know, you're out, like not at all. And that was like around 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And that's when we, you know, when it was just really the two of us, and that's when we really got serious. So I say we put up our first beats in like 2012, but even back then, just figuring shit out, didn't really know what we were doing, just, you know, starting out, like, and then over the years, it, you know,
we had
got better.
we had SoundClick pages and stuff like back in 2009 already, but when we said, I think so. When we said, the thing is, when we said we wanted to do something with music, we had no idea how it'll look like.
Yeah.
So I didn't have this in mind when I said I wanted to do something with music. So it kind of evolved into this, which is dope. But yeah, that's how it kind of all came along. It's crazy.
I always
Crazy
wanted
ride.
to DJ, and he wanted to become a concert pianist.
Yeah.
So he wanted to play the piano. And yeah, man, and he got a like a not
It's
sickness,
called,
but
I think
like,
it's called tendinitis in English.
yeah,
Oh, so it messed your arms up.
yeah,
When
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when the like really advanced shit wasn't for him anymore, and I got tired of DJing when that whole David Guetta thing blew up, and all of a sudden every promoter wanted me to play that music, and I was absolutely not willing to do that. So I kind of stepped, you know, back from the DJing and started to produce my own music.
All right, shout out to David Guetta.
Yeah.
So if you were starting right now, you know, no branding, no online presence, but you have the talent and you have the knowledge, what would you do to start making a living off of music now going into 2019?
Like triple down on what's going on online, because not only do I think that, you know, not just because the financial part, which obviously you can see that there are a lot of people, you know, living off selling beats online, but I think it's the future. And if you look back at it, like where it's been like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and what it is now, and if you see all that potential and, you know, people having like 100% control over their careers and living off producing beats, I don't know, man. For me personally, that's one of the dopest things that, you know, possible in this era. So if that was your plan and you're starting out brand new, I would focus 100% on the internet, because what I've noticed is that for everything that we do, whether it's the beats that we sell or, you know, the samples and the sound kits that we do, once people heard of you somewhere, they found your stuff somewhere, or I don't know, they heard the sample and, oh, okay, you did this, it always opens doors. If they, you know, somehow are familiar with your work, even though they don't really know that they are, it's always better to be that rather than be the guy that, oh, I never heard of him. And if you are not out there on the internet, just, you know, working relationships and trying to, I don't know, it can work. But at the end of the day, that's like playing the lottery for me. And that's what kind of, you know, turns me off about this whole industry thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think personally the mindset that you have around this whole thing is very, very important. Like, I don't know who said this, but he said something like, if you got a person with the right mindset, or let's just take you for example, if you would have to start all over again right now, like no money in the bank, no brand, no nothing, you would be in a similar position from where you are right now, probably in like 5 years. I don't know. Because you got that mindset, you got the right work ethic, you got the knowledge.
Yeah.
But I think to get to a point where you got that kind of mindset, you have to get your hands dirty and like really do things out there, like really do shit that's going on right now. And I just think this whole online thing is the greatest opportunity. Like if you are some random dude from, I don't know, a village in Germany? Brazil or whatever.
Yeah, Germany.
Or Germany or whatever. You can just like Google that shit up. I mean, you can just start looking for opportunities. What can I do with my beats? What can I do with this? What can I do with that? What can I do with music? And you will find all of that shit. And it's just obvious, in my opinion at least, that this is what's going on right now. Like, it's the trendiest, I'd say, newest, coolest thing for producers right now.
Yeah, if you ask us, you know, depending on who you ask.
Well, let me ask you this then, because another cool, trendy thing for producers is sample libraries, and you've been doing this for a while. You distribute exclusively through Splice, or do you?
No, that was just a kind of like an additional partnership that I really wanted to have, because I've been, you know, a fan, you could say, or a user of Splice. I just thought we love their service and we provide the stuff that they sell to people, so it would make sense. So let me just, hit them up in a very like professional manner and see if they might be interested. And again, that's a very good example of why it is important to put yourself out there. When we actually hopped on a call with the guys at Splice, 1 minute into the Skype call, they realized that they already know who we were and they were already familiar with our work. They knew about the contest that that we talked about. They knew about our, beats selling career, if you want to call it that. Yeah. So from then on, it was pretty much set. Like we didn't have to convince them anymore because they were already familiar with our work.
And it's it's a major revenue stream for you.
Absolutely.
Would you say it's on par with licensing beats?
It can be
right now. It could become that, though. I'd say
it can definitely be on that level. It's not on that level right now. Yeah. But there are people on Splice who are easily, making that type of money.
Yeah, I heard people getting big 5-figure Splice royalty checks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these guys exist.
Yeah, they do exist. We're not there yet. We're trying.
So producers have used your sample libraries to create some pretty big records for major artists. Who's the biggest artist that has used the Splice sample from you, or any? I don't know if it's from Splice, but
that's where he got it from. There was the Eminem joint, the Killshot, the MGK disc. That was Illa, the producer. That's the guy who produced it. He got it from Splice, made a beat with it. Eminem rapped over it, and it became like a moment in hip hop history, you could say. That was the biggest one. It was weird, man. Like it felt surreal, really, because I remember like him, the way he started producing was he was remaking Eminem, Dr. Dre songs.
I basically remade all of Eminem's songs on Fruity Loops.
So we went from producing these remakes in his children's bedroom to actually playing some keys that end up on the real thing. Yeah. So that was wild, and again, man, it shows you like how far this whole internet thing can go.
Yeah, they thought it was a fad. Okay, so here's the tough question, right? Your sample kits are royalty free, I believe, right? So you didn't get any money or credit for this Eminem thing, fine. But how did you take advantage of the hysteria around that Eminem placement to bring some attention back to your brand and what you do?
So first of all, I did reach out to the producer, and apparently he's a very cool guy. Yeah. And he said he's even willing. Like I told him, like I don't even want the cash because we are set up this way. I know, what can potentially happen, and it happened, but it will still be cool to, be credited for contributing to the song, even though it's like no cash for us. And he's actually cool with it. He said he's going to fix the credit, and if it happens, that would be dope. Even if it doesn't, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But just like you said, there are other ways to capitalize of having made it that far.
Yeah.
And I can already tell, like, if certain people that I reach out to that I want to work with, if I don't know, if they ask for your credentials or whatnot and you can mention that, it's always like, oh, cool. So like, it's all right. So it kind of gives you, like, I don't know, credibility or whatever you want to call it, but people value that. You can tell.
Yeah.
And
you're not gonna put out a Killshot sample library.
We probably could, because we know how we did that. So that would be a cool way to capitalize a little bit. I remember I did a short video for Instagram.
Yeah,
like,
so you had the hoodies and everything, beefing with MGK too now, and so, yeah, I saw it. So I know you want to get in on the branding. I think okay, and who cares what I think? What do you think? So moving forward, it seems as though this model of collaboration with the sample kits, sample libraries, some royalty free, some not royalty free, that's an emerging market within the online producer community. Where do you see that going in the next few years?
Good question, man. I think it's going to become bigger because so many producers are using that, and there's like a crazy demand for it. Like it's not just Splice, there's a lot of people who provide that, a lot of different sites, and apparently they are all doing really, really good. And I think that it's just going to become more and more saturated where more people want to make music. And yeah, man, just like with the beat business, I think all of this is just going to get bigger.
What I personally think is with all the sample libraries and all the sample packs out there, and I don't know if I'm like allowed to mention this, but we went to the Splice office and one of the guys told us they got like 3 million samples on Splice right now, like single wave samples, and
7,000 plus sample packs.
And I personally think that it's going to happen at one point that there's just going to be some really smart AI computer that's going to take advantage of these libraries, and you can, as a rapper, go online and have some sort of computer create a beat for you. That's what I think will happen at one point.
Yeah, that's.
Hopefully not.
That's no. I think Curtis King said something to that effect in one of his videos. He had a video with the controversial title "Rappers Don't Need Producers," and he kind of. Yeah, so it's kind of, you should make a horror movie about this. It would scare the hell out of a lot of producers, man. Okay, so on that very depressing note, how do people find your sample libraries? How do they find your beats?
They can find our beats on DopeBoyzMusic.com, samples on DopeBoyKits.com. Yep. And obviously, if you do have if you are affiliated with Splice, you can check our stuff out over there. You can find our label on Splice under DopeBoyzMusic. That's pretty much it. You can find all of our stuff over there. And you can reach out to us at DopeBoyzMusic@gmail.com if you have any questions, I don't know, just want to talk.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it.
Wish you much continued success. Thanks for taking the time to give me some honest and frightening answers.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having us.